All right, we are live. I'm gonna be inviting Miruna as usual for a beautiful Wednesday night Soulful with Miruna. Hello, my dear Miruna. How are you
Hello.
doing? Do you hear me
I'm
well?
good. I'm good.
All right, perfect.
I do.
Yes, you
I
as
do.
usual. You're really
Do
good.
you
It's
hear
just
me
I'm
well?
never used to speak in those earbuds. All right. So before going any further, like usual, do a little meditation prayer. Would you like to do it, or do you want me to do it? Yes, I
I'll
felt
leave it up to
I
you.
felt it.
Go ahead.
All right. So I invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath. My dear God, my dear Father of the universe, may you allow us to be in the present moment. May we be collected with the Holy Spirit and we speak through the heart to the care and to the source of energy. We're so thankful to be here today to be able to talk freely, organically, to no matter what's going to come up to us. May we share a message of hope, of love, and connectiveness, right? May we be ourselves fully, and may we receive with open heart and open arms. Thank you very much. Amen. Oh my
Amen.
God. Thank you.
Beautiful one.
Oh, I don't know for you, girl, but it's been a beautiful ride in so many aspects, for my life. I just keep learning, like the more you learn and you get to know your creator and your spirituality, the more you want to know more. Like it's like, I'm like so new in my process. I'm like, wow, and then you keep going, right? But it's a bumper coast. It's really a roller coaster, like there's times and days that you're super energetic, super happy, super joyful, and there's other times that stuff in your life hits you. You react to it, you heal from it, you try to learn the lesson from it, but it's not easy, right? But who said that living hard stuff is bad? It's not bad. It's a gift. For you, it might be a very, not you, I'm saying people in general, it might be a disguised gift, but I try so much to receive it as a gift. Remind myself that everything I'm living is exactly what it's supposed to be, and I'm receiving it with open heart, not necessarily joy, but open heart in it, and I'm determined to see things differently. Anyway, so I would love to talk to you about all the things I've just learned anyway this week and everything, but we'll stop with one thing. Oh, I'm gonna be putting the 20 minutes 1 second, all right? So what's coming to me, because I just got a call from my mom and I was cooking and I just got interrupted, right? Is how to protect your temple, right? We're humans. We're 7 billion humans on Earth, or maybe even more now. We have so many things to manage in our lives, and we are every day bumped, not in a bad way, but we're bumped with other people's, right? And we deal with ourselves, but we deal with other people's, right?
Yeah.
So we deal with our own limitations and other people's limitations. So how can you make sure that you can protect your temple without feeling guilty about it? How can you make sure to prioritize yourself without feeling guilty about it, and connect with yourself to know what to say no and yes to, and how to protect your energy temple as well? So I don't know if that speaks out to you.
Oh my God. Always the themes are aligned with what we're living, I think, throughout the week. Yes, it definitely speaks so much to me. Me in a state of close to exhaustion tonight, I must admit. Exhaustion in terms of needing to deep rest. So it's, again, not, it need to deep rest without having to justify or saying it that it's good or bad, because these states are we tend to be on the upper states more easily, in the light states, and I think quiet inner time just not necessarily has a bad rep, but cannot be verbalized so easily. And this morning, I at noon, I took a walk with a dear friend, and she actually asked me if she's an introvert. So when she needs her inner space, she usually just gets more serious in her space, doesn't interact that much. And she asked me, how could she tell me that she needs to be like in a bubble without sounding bête? Français was bête.
Rude, yeah.
Without sound, yeah, without being rude, without, and she was checking with me if I mind, and that this week, she was explaining and justifying her need to be in her bubble, tending to my potential needs in case I would get upset or misunderstand her or even judge her. Oh, I teared up when I heard her. I and we had this conversation. I said, actually, just use these words like you said. I am right now, I'm in my bubble space. I said, personally, I don't need them because I read nonverbal. So I'm quick on cues, and no, I'm not, don't take it personally. I understood. Don't think about me. You do whatever you need. Really, really reassuring her and telling her I personally don't, like, I get it quite quickly when she needs her bubble. But for her husband, her children, other people, that if she wishes to really say it with words, to use this. Just say, right now I'm in my bubble space, or right now I'm in my inner space, and I need some quiet time. I'll come back later to talk to you. Such a simple yet difficult thing to do, isn't it? Because you name the guilt. As if we've never given ourselves permission. And you mentioned mom. I mean, culturally, other generations, they don't stop. We already talked about it, but I think it's worth mentioning it again. There's no stopping. And if you do and you sit down, there must be a reason. Is there something wrong? What's going on? You need to explain it. My God, even that is exhausting when you're tired,
Mm.
right?
I was like, I wasn't sure if you were finishing your point. It was just so good. Ah, thank you, Marina. I can feel your energy. Like you say, it's okay to be exhausted. You don't have to justify it, and we never have to justify it. You're so right. And when the theme comes up in your life, like you said, protecting our temple, there's different theme in our lives, right? When you get into your spirituality, you become more aware of life and all its aspects. A lot of things gets up to you, right? Like you must understand what I'm saying. You observe so many things, and when you're in this team, everything connects because you realize that we're one consciousness. Everything that I live, that you live, that the neighbor lived, and their friends lived, they all lived it in the past, and we all lived it at some point, and we can understand and relate at some point because we're all living the same things, being human beings and being limited in the same constructs. And we all have different shapes, of course, and different traumas, but you know what I mean. So I love the fact that you say to be able to verbalize. So it comes back to the communication, right? And that's another thing we could talk another time, right? There's so many little branches, but and especially
Yes.
for, I don't know, it's for men, basically. Maybe once again, maybe it's a construct, it's a program for men to not be, they've never taught to communicate correctly or communicate verbally. But especially what I'm living with the men in my life, the difficulty for communication. I can see it, right? So if they have a hard time to communicate what they feel, and also for anybody, any people, not just for men, also when we're not tuned in with ourselves and our needs through meditation, through prayer, whatever works, guys. Again, there's no size fits all. Meditation for you guys doesn't have to be sitting down listening to the silence and doing nothing at all. Me, when I start my day, I like to put music. That's for me, like hill songs, things that bring me joy, things that bring me energy to flow. But it's a form of a state of meditation because I focus on myself, right? So I just want to stress that little detail. But when you don't tune it with yourself, with your needs, notice how your brain, not your brain, but notice how your senses are. Notice how your heart is beating or not. Notice how you have maybe cramps in your body. Notice how maybe you digest. Are you digesting well? Do you notice that you have a short breath? Do you notice that you are trembling or reacting? You're non-verbal, like you said. Your body is such a smart being by itself, the gut, whatever you want to call it, that the signs are there for you to realize in minutes, hey, wait a second, I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I'm feeling this, or I can tell my body's not this. Maybe it's time for taking a break, right? But there's a challenge for that because I fall myself into this, and I'm sure you do too, that like you're aware you want to work on this, like it's like you said, the more you want to work on this shit, the more that everything in the universe is going to come to you and say, hey, you want to work on that, you want to work on protecting your temple, I'm going to put everything on your freaking path so you like be challenged on it, right? So then when you have somebody who has a need and is living
Yes.
high emotions and they're counting on you to express themselves, they have a need, right? And as a good person, you want to support them, be there for
Yeah.
them, listen to them, but at what price? If at this moment you're not feeling, and I felt strong, so that's why I felt good accepting this call, but when you're not feeling yourself right now like a warrior and you feel like you need some break, taking calls just for the sake of others, because being a people pleaser, we've been taught to be a people pleaser, we've been taught to feel guilty if you do
Yeah.
no, you say no, we've been taught that to be guilty when you want to have a break, like you say, is not serving you any purpose, because you're draining your energy from a place that you're not already in a state of relaxation, a state of resourcement, and you just like give it all, right? So how is that going to serve you in the long term? Because if you keep doing that, and I
Yes.
understand, guys, it's a pattern, it's hard, but if we keep doing that, guys, trust me, it's not going to come out good for us, because you're going to keep up building stuff that you're not feeling good with yourself, giving others, giving to others, giving. And I fell into that, and I healed from that perspective for a long time, where I felt like I was feeling worthy only when I was helping others, right? So that was a very strong affirmation,
Yeah.
limiting beliefs that
Yeah.
I freed this year. I'm really happy for that, thank God. So it's when I've lost my train of thought, but when you give that to others and you feel like you feel bad, but you know deep down that you need your own time, that's when you have this form of resistance, right? You're fighting against your own nature. So there's so many things you've mentioned. I love it, like the lack of communication, or the lack of teachings of how to communicate, the lack of the problem of guilt. This guilt keeps coming up often in the problems of people around me, the people pleasing things, and also the lack also of doing the effort of being connected with our needs, right? First of all, because once again, we've been taught to put that at the last
Yeah.
priority, right? Go to school, you go at school, you have to do that this way, not this way, succeed this way. The only way you can succeed is this way only. Have the récompenses, how do you say, rewards, uh, look good, be liked by others, like
Reward. Yeah.
we never been taught to, hey, what do you want right now? What do you feel like right now, right? What do you feel right now inside of you guys, right? So we have not been prioritizing in our education, in our world of unhealing. So I love it. I could go over and over because it goes a lot with a lot of things. And I've met people just last night. We went to a dinner and it was so fun and everything. I love talking with them, and we were so all connected of faith. And this girl was amazing. I'm not going to name her, obviously, but I could tell that she was the sweetest person, the most innocent soul. She's older than me, but I could tell she was a people pleaser. She could tell me, she was like, I admire you so much, Missy. You can talk so deeply. You're so passionate about talking about personal development and spirituality, but like I can tell, like I can see myself, like I wish I could do as deeper and working on it, but like I can tell, like I have a hard time saying when I don't feel good. Like when somebody would ask me, are you okay, girl? And then she would say, yeah, yeah, I'm good. And then she was programmed, like it's a mechanism of this defense, right? She was like, yeah, yeah, everything is good. And it would take her 24 hours and more to say, wait a second, no, no, I didn't feel good. It's crazy, right? Because we're naturally supposed to be connected, but we're so indoctrinated for so many years to not be in tune that it became like, it became like we're fakely saying that we're okay, and you're like unconsciously convincing yourself that you're okay when you're not. It's crazy. So anyway, so so those
Yeah,
are all the things I'm
yeah,
observing in myself and the people around me. Isn't
totally.
it crazy, right? An upside world we have grew up into. But there's many beautiful things, guys. Just that we're talking about that right now.
Oh, it's so pertinent. I think many can relate to yeah, I'm good, which obviously in the context of it depends who asks you because you don't want to go process your emotions and your whatever you lived throughout the day with anybody. But we can say first of all we can say it differently, as in I'm a bit low energy right now, but I'll be fine. Just to not say, yeah, yeah, I'm good when you, because your body will hear it and there will be like a disconnect. Like, what do you mean? Especially if you don't tend to it after. I think that's the most important. Like, even if you say, let's say, I'm fine, you can say I'm fine, or just uh, let's say I'm okay, which okay doesn't really mean anything. I remember when my mother told me, "Can you just stop telling me when I came here at 18?" She was in Romania, and she's like, "Can you please stop telling me you're okay? I don't even understand what you mean. Like, can you speak with words?" And we were speaking Romanian. It's like I just need like
Clarity,
something, what
yeah.
an adjective, something. What exactly? How are you? And of course, I wasn't okay. I wasn't okay at all. It was very tough for me. So let's say you can't say it and it's not the appropriate time to say it, but do tend to it. Do tend to it. Because what you're sharing about people pleasing and the guilt is just basically getting into this habit of and perpetuating the I don't know how to express my you said temple, my yeah, my temple space. Some call it the bubble, some the cave, whatever you call it, or your inner garden. If we recognize, and many of us do recognize, that we need more time for our inner space, we need more time to just sit down, process emotion, think, observe the thoughts, whatever it is, just breathe, sometimes cry, whatever comes up, pray, you meditate, you read. If we do recognize it, the next step is, how do I make sure I communicate this to myself? Like how am I setting this up for me? Usually it will be a space. It doesn't have to be a huge space, just a 2 by 2 meters on a cushion, whatever, just in a corner, but set up the space, the go-to I'm in my bubble space. And thirdly would be, how do I make sure I actually communicate this to others in the appropriate context? Again, you don't need to extend your life process to anyone, but depending on the context, you will name it. And it can be very sweet and short. I'm going to take some alone time right now. I'll get back to you later or tomorrow. Uh, or I need a bubble time. Can we have this conversation later? Or no, you don't have to answer that phone. And I remember having this dynamics with a family member that would just call like 10
Oh,
times
girl.
if I wouldn't pick up. Jesus Christ. And no, it's not an emergency. Just because they couldn't manage their anxiety and their need to right now, like I need to talk right now. And again, so not emergency. And I would so cave to my like empathic
Mm,
understanding of their needs. And I would add to that, you're you're not doing them a service with
right.
entertaining this type of anxiety pattern. Not at all. So being on the beck and call of whoever can't wait and calls and texts you to tell you that they called, it's so like it. This is not a normal pattern of communication. They are free to, of course, extend it to you. You're totally free to be balanced enough and present enough to actually, again, you can tend to their needs into lowering their anxiety, because what they really need is communicate in a clear way and kind of suggest to them that immediacy is not natural. It's stressful for themselves and for you. And then to finish, well, to to connect to how I handled that, I literally didn't answer. Like I answered, I shortened the time. It was a gradual thing. So at the beginning I was answering, then I answered a couple of hours later, then I was texting that I'm not available, I will get back to you, and we'll get back some hours later. And now we're up to just one call,
Oh,
and they
wow,
know I will call
girl.
back.
This is
Hallelujah.
such a beautiful work. This is amazing, girl. Because you're coming from another person. Yeah,
It
because
was a
from 10 calls,
consistent work.
I know she has a culture, she has her own ways of
Yeah.
being. To that, you put up your boundaries, right? They know you now. They know that, oh, Marina's going to
Yes.
call back. She's
Yeah.
not answering now. There's a reason. I'm
Yeah.
going to respect her reason no matter what are my needs right now.
Yes.
This is amazing.
Yes. It's and it wasn't my mom. It was another family member. My mom never calls me 10 times. But still, it can be, with children too. I can see that with my friends that have younger children. The children come constantly in the bubbles, and I mean, children are children, but they don't name, especially mothers. I'm talking especially about women who are mothers. They don't name that mom has a space and the bubble. They don't name it. Dads or men are much more prone to be very clear about their personal space. If there's nap time, we don't bother. So
Right
you
away.
see, but they express it. They have the routine. They're very clear, and we just don't go burst each other's bubbles. So to go back to what you said about your temple, I would actually love to know
Oh
what
my
in your
gosh.
experience is your temple, and when do you feel that it's kind of.
Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to see if when you moved your
Yeah. It's just
headphone the
falling
sound
down. I
is
have
good.
small ears. I don't know.
Can you.
I missed the last part. I just missed the last part of your question.
Now
When
it's
do you
perfect.
feel?
When do you feel that you get a bit invaded in
That's a
your
good question.
personal temple?
I guess it's a mix of a lot of things. I'm telling you, I've done a lot of progress since then. I used to say a lot yes for before like I was the one, and that's something I have to really, I don't know yet what it is, but I have like, I think it was because before I used to see value in myself when I was helping others, right? So I used to say yes a lot because I'm a person that's very much after. I'm capable of doing a lot of things. I'm creative. I'm not doing that to give myself any praising. It's just like I'm very capable of doing many things. So when people have difficulties with, let's say, social media, understanding for older people, they don't know how to do it. When researching the best deals for a pair of shoes, pair of a car, whatever else, to help somebody decor, I can do all of those things, right? So I always tended in my past, not anymore, to say, oh, well, you need that. I can do that. I would give my engagement to so many people, girl. And then I would find myself in a situation where I would like take a piece of my temple. Like, but you didn't know it, right? Back then it was unconscious. Like, take a piece of my pimple. So at the end, I did so much for everybody that when I had needed time for myself or when I needed them to help me at this moment, I wasn't able to one verbalize it, and two, when I would do it, I wouldn't feel supported. So then you have a huge other swirl of emotions like I'm alone, I'm frustrated, I just everybody don't give it to me, all the things. So from a couple of years now, well, a year or two, I started to slowly say, look, maybe you don't feel like it, is no, right? Why do you have to force yourself to say yes and help everybody when it doesn't serve your purpose, when it doesn't help you personally in your tempo and working on yourself and your peace so much, right? So now today I'm able much easier to say when they invite me to go out because I'm social, I love events. I'm like, hey, you know what? Today I feel like staying at home. I don't feel too much down. I'm much better at that so much, and I'm taking this time to say, hey, girl, you got this. That's awesome. So that is the best thing. What I find more challenging is when you're in a good high vibration, and once again, like the universe sending you tests. When you're in a good vibration mode, everything is fucking awesome. You're dancing, you're in your things, you're being productive, and boom, calls that you were not planning is calling you, and you have to stress it out because it's an immediate thing that you have to deal with, or you choose to say no, right? So that's where when I see the caller ID, depends on whom. That's where I kind of I'm in my bubble. I'm in my connectiveness. I'm feeling good. That's I guess that's where I fail to respect this boundary for myself, right? Because I know, oh, I have to do that. Like it's things I said I was going to do, things I know that it's expected to give them a call. Like it can be also professional as much as personal. That's the thing. When I have multiple businesses, is dealing with perspective, is dealing with follow up, is dealing with time. So that's crazy. Like I'm learning as I talk to you. So it's being able to show up for all of those people without stopping for showing up for myself. So it's finding this balance. So that's why the feeling of
Mm-hmm.
overwhelm takes me a lot because I tend to take much more than I can actually, my body wants actually to have. So that's something else I'm sure a lot of people relate
Mm-hmm.
to. So it's all a bit
Yeah.
interrelated. I don't know if I answered the question, but yeah.
I totally understand, and I believe that many of us relate to this. I'm including myself in it. The overload of yeses, basically, to other people's needs. Not enough no's in terms of no to planned in advance because it's a yes now, but every yes is a no for something, and every no is a
Yeah.
yes for something. Kind of like that's a balanced way to plan out and to overlook the over the yeses and the nos in I guess in the week. Um, what I wanted to what I heard from you and I heard and I hear all the time is because I can. It's this criteria that because I'm capable, and I actually deconstructed this with a dear friend who's also a recovering perfectionist. Sometimes it's actually a surviving perfectionist. Perfectionism can be terrible, as many of us know, when we get into that spiral. We deconstructed this. I had this conversation. She is recovering from burnout, and she's in the process of getting back to her balance. So the criteria to the yes was was can I do it? Am I able? Therefore is yes. We're talking about smart, creative, amazing woman that my friend is. She can do a lot of things, like a lot, and very well. And I looked at her. We just looked into each other's eyes, and I'm like, yeah, but does this sit well with you? Is this in balance? Like, this cannot be your criteria for because you can. You're saying yes. So we kind of had this like, well, she truly had. I had an aha moment. She had a big oh my God moment, I I've been balancing myself because my evaluation
That's so
criteria
true. Oh
was
my goodness.
capacity. And that is the hook of the perfectionist. More. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Of course, I will. Of course, I will. I'm able. I'm so good. And all that is true in itself. No, we're not. Like when you're mentioning your creativity and your efficiency, and I attest to knowing that of you. I don't believe we should, not shine that light and not recognize our strengths. It's beautiful. However, when we are in the path of balance, we need to include the lowest points, not the weakest or the negative, but the needs, the other needs. And it's not the need to please. The need to please is not a real need. Like we need to just have this mantra every day. Good morning. The need to please is not a need. Oh, what is my actual need right now? Oh, I need to eat and drink and sleep, and oh, I need to, okay, take take the time, breathe, and yeah, the need to please is an anxious energy that is connected directly to not enoughness. So it's just entertaining this never-ending tower or like list of to-dos. And while we're doing this for others, they're not even tending to their own balance because they should just chill out and
That
not
is.
call us 10 times. God bless them and go do something else. And you know what? Give ourselves permission to crumble. I don't know how much this resonates. This week has been extremely sensitive. These weeks, this period, we just feel, when I say we, I mean as a collective, we just feel to let it crumble down. Because we are in the year of balance, we're going to remind it all year long. Whatever is going too much this year is not allowed anymore. Your body will be like, I'm sorry. It's been too long. It's done. How are you listening to my needs and their needs? It's human needs. Too much. And enough with not enough. It's like there is a middle ground. It's in the heart. There's a balance between no and yes to be looked at in advance, ideally. And tending to the real deep needs, the need to be seen, the need to be loved, the need to be acknowledged, the need to rest, the need to be heard, the need to be ourselves, all those beautiful, authentic, human, divine needs. And so we can actually invite each other in the temple to temple and spread the word around for our soul to, just, and if you feel like crumbling today or if you feel exhausted, say it. Go do whatever you can, if you can. If not, have faith and trust that you can name it and, sleep, rest, bubble up, go to your temple, communicate. I need to take some time, free up the guilt. It's time. It's time for us to give permission to ourselves and then to others as well, because they will see, oh my God, this is a natural, balanced way to live. Yes, it is. No guilt? No. Why? It's an actual need. Why guilt? Yeah. Isn't it like, don't you just feel your shoulders be like, oh, I love just thinking about this. This is like my body, when I give permission and I actively give permission to be passively relaxing, I'm like, okay, you know what? Because I feel my shoulders, I'm like, okay, you can relax. It's okay. It's a bit too much. You've done enough. Tomorrow is another day. It's okay. Because I can
Vegetative.
feel it like again, and looking out. Like, who needs what in this plan? Tell me. Getting back and save your word. Oh my God, save. No, 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 no. We can save each other in the sense that we can influence each other to be authentic and balanced. Like this, the planet is also happy. She's gonna be like, finally, these humans are
It's all part of
in
God's
sync
plan,
with
girl.
me.
You
We're
know,
we're
you
in
know.
flow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the strategic plan, the ultimate strategy. Live in balance
Wow.
and love.
Yes.
Our
Some of these
ultimate
topics that it
dream, right?
exists, girl. He's just not of this world of what's been over now. Oh my gosh, girl. My goodness, you have said so many gems. I had to write it out. It was just so beautiful. For a girl who has low energy right now, like imagine when you have high energy. Jeez. Right? We're connected, girl. Jeez. It's amazing what you've it's God given. You are connected with the Holy Spirit, and it's a beautiful message you just stressed out. It was so perfectly, you don't like the word perfect, but it was just so perfectly said. I love it, girl. So the conclusion, guys, because the time has passed already, is that no is not a bad thing. And I would love, before leaving, to tell me what do you think should be the criteria of saying no. That's a good thing, a good tip that we could leave them with that. What should be the criteria instead of saying, am I capable? Is it doable in my area of expertise or whatever capabilities? What are the questions we should ask ourselves to see if it's aligned or not with our temples and real needs?
You named it earlier. How does it feel? And I would add in my body, because the body is an amazing instrument. So I bring it to the body. I allow myself to take some time. Ideally, when we practice saying no and we're not natural at it, never say it initially. So criteria, don't say yes instantly. So give yourself time to take the time. Oh, I'll get back to you. Give me whatever. So taking the time, bringing it to the body, feel about it. Feel about it and allow yourself to see the yeses given and what's going on in the week and be like, okay, I would like to add this. How does it feel? And body will be like, oof, oh, it's a bit at the limit. You know, don't we all know this? Didn't we all do this? That weekend extra of whatever we did that we knew already is going to be too much. And then we're like, oh, I'm so tired. I did, yeah, it's so actually, as we all know, again, because it's a deep knowing, it's a natural knowing. It's just taking the time to feel about it. Because if we think about it, the mind will go to, yes, I can, of course, more, more, more. That's awesome. That's exciting. I'm sure it is, but we're living in this body with needs and emotional states. You named it earlier. You did, and we all like.
Right?
How
Great
how does it feel?
instruments.
How do I feel about
Go with the
this?
feeling, girl.
Go for the
Our instinct,
feeling.
our gut, guys, is so much
Yeah.
stronger. And then for a long time before I was struggling, I remember talking with a girl saying, what is it, instinct? What is a gut? How can I tune into it? I was seeking answers outside of myself, that was before my breakthrough. So it's amazing once you connect with your soul, guys, it's just beautiful. And then you don't have to be like us. You don't have to be like super intense like us and talk about it for hours, but you can be yourself, guys. It's perfectly fine, but how does it feel, guys? This is a question. First of all, no, it's not bad at all. That's a limiting belief. Second of all, the criteria to ask yourself if you should say yes or no to this in order to protect your temples is, how does it feel? How does it feel in my body? How do I react to it in my heart, my instinct, in my physical body? Right? Does it add value to my life? Does it add value to my soul right now? I love it, girl. Oh, and I love you, girl. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy we uh, recorded this so I can rewatch it whenever you want. You were so much in tune, girl. It was crazy what you said. It was God given. Wow.
I'm really,
Really?
really happy we spoke about this. So happy. It's so pertinent. We hear it over and over again. This period is a sensitive period for us all. It's a vulnerable period that has gems inside. And actually, yes, the energy is not so low, but when we go deep, I'm talking by in my case. Usually when I go deeper, I'm more grounded and there's things emerging from my quietness, right? Or my, I don't know,
Yes,
my
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, because you were
groundedness, I guess.
so, yeah, yeah, you're right.
And it's
You were so
resting.
in a trance, like I don't know how you call it,
Yeah.
like you were coming out, girl. And this is a exact beautiful example of finishing on that. That not because you're grounded right now, you're feeling a bit calmer or not as energetic, that not great things can come out of it, right? It's all balance. God created a world of harmony and balance. So if bad thoughts, which is not bad, but if the emotions that are low vibrating exist, it's for a reason, guys. It's for a reason for you to find your balance and your harmony within yourself.
So wise of you to say that. Yeah, I love it. I
Thank you
love the
so much.
imagery. Thank you for another beautiful, soulful Wednesday. Again, if it weren't for you
I
tonight,
appreciate it,
we
girl.
wouldn't have had this conversation. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wish blessings and peace to all of us
I love it.
tonight
Thank you so
and
much, Marina.
throughout the week. And I can't
It's
wait to talk
awesome.
again
Thank you
next
to you,
Wednesday.
Marina, for
Thank you,
showing
my
up. I
dear
love it.
Macy.
I appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.